All right, hello and welcome in. It's a special edition. It feels almost like it's a, traditional Sunday show. We might as well just go ahead and make this a regular occurrence. At least it feels like it's today's day and age in college football. It's officially a always college football special edition, if you will. This particular case, Wisconsin has relieved head coach Paul Chryst of his duties. He went 86-45 over the course of his college football head coaching career, but at Wisconsin, 67-26, got the job back in 2015, and then now after a 2-3 start and an 0-2 start in the Big Ten, he is officially out as the head coach of the Badgers. This is very, very clear to me. Initially, my reaction was shock. You got to be kidding me. This guy is coming off a 9-win season just last year. You look at the performances that he's had over the course of his career at Wisconsin, 3 division titles, of course, has been to a Rose Bowl, has fared very well in the postseason. He is a cool 6-1 in the postseason in bowl games. But this was very, very clear. One, the program didn't feel like it had a real positive trajectory. Felt like they were kind of stuck, and they hadn't really done the things that they used to do with emphatic dominance. Remember, this is a team and a program really that dominated the line of scrimmage for a very long time offensively. It doesn't feel quite like that anymore. That's the first thing. Two, I think the interim coach has an awful lot to do with this decision. Jim Leonard now gets a 7-game sample size for Barry Alvarez and all the decision makers that be associated with the Wisconsin program. They get a 7-game sample size to assess whether or not Jim Leonard is capable of taking the job. That's option one. Option number two, Lance Leipold, who's currently 5-0 at Kansas. He, of course, won 6 national championships at Wisconsin Whitewater. I think that this move was exclusively about giving a good, long, solid look at Jim Leonard. If he's successful, they'll remove the interim tag. If he's not successful, it's very clear where you go with this head coaching search. You bring home the College Football Hall of Famer Lance Leipold, who has quickly turned things around at Kansas, has them at 5-0, has them ranked in the AP poll. You bring him home to Wisconsin, to a place that would likely be his dream job. I don't know if he's ever publicly said that because Wisconsin has never really come open like this. But this is a no-brainer. It's one of two guys. It's either Jim Leonard, and that's, of course, in success over the next 7 games, or it's Lance Leipold. Bada bing, bada boom, piece of cake when it comes to this coaching search. As far as what's going on with Colorado, Karl Dorrell has been relieved of his duties after an 0-for start there in Boulder in the 2022 season. This should really come as no surprise. With all due respect to Karl Dorrell, my experiences around him have been remarkably positive, but he was completely unfit for the job. He really had no leverage whatsoever when he got the job, and when he was hired, most of us kind of looked around and like, what? It was one of those head scratchers. Now, things got off to a really nice start there in the COVID year of 2020. They, of course, performed really well, surprisingly well in a lot of ways, but it's been all downhill ever since, and they have not had even the tiniest bit of a heartbeat here in the first month and change of the college football season. Where does this school go? Huge question mark to me. This, I think, is a very, very difficult job. It's not that dissimilar to schools we've talked about in the past. Not a crazy amount of in-state talent, but enough to be able to, I think, put together a more formidable roster than what we've seen. They also have access to Texas. They also have access to California. Colorado has long lived in those two areas when producing programs there in the 2000s that were among the best in college football. Of course, that was back in the era when they were in the Big 12. I think the uncertainty surrounding where Colorado is going to be, the speculation about Colorado potentially leaving for the Big 12, and all the other things make this even more difficult. It is a Power 5 job. It is a place that has had success in the past. Any place that has had success by way of national championships, albeit, a generation ago, this will be a desirable spot. Where do they go from here? Guy that would make a ton of sense to me is Brian Harsin. of course, Brian Harsin has come under an awful lot of scrutiny with what's gone on at Auburn. Is he in? Is he out? How does it all work right there? I don't know. I can't answer those things. All I know is that Brian Harsin coached football. And I know that maybe he might not be the best fit for Auburn, especially those that want to control the program at Auburn. Maybe they aren't totally on board with him being the head coach. But I know that at Boise State, that guy got it done. And I feel like at Colorado, they need to become a developmental program. They need to find some diamonds in the rough. Brian Harsin, over the course of his career, has been able to do that time and time again. You might say, well, the last time Colorado hired a Boise State head coach, it didn't work out. Fair enough, reasonable pushback. But this hire, to me, makes an awful lot of sense, and I think it'd be mutually beneficial. Brian Harsin would get a fresh start at a place that might appreciate him, and I think Auburn, of course, who knows what's going to happen with Auburn as the season goes along, but we shall see, and we'll monitor that situation closely. But it's mutually beneficial. Colorado gets to start over with a guy that has had a remarkable run of success at a place that's a little bit similar, and Brian Harsin gets a fresh start in the Pac-12, where I think he could become Kyle Whittingham 2.0 if he stays at Colorado long enough. So it'll be a fascinating journey to watch this coaching carousel as far as it pertains to Colorado, because I do think it is a desirable job. It's just about finding the right guy, and the right guy might not necessarily be the first guy that comes to mind when looking at the obvious landscape. All right. When we think about these coaching searches, you never know how it's all going to unfold. It'd be nice if there was some creativity, but oftentimes that's not necessarily the case. And it certainly wasn't the case the last time Colorado went through a coaching search. So that'll do it for us here on Always College Football Special Edition Coaching Carousel. I'll finish by saying this, same thing I say every single time we do one of these. This stinks. I hate when coaches lose their jobs. People see the buyouts because they're heavily publicized, and you look at what the head coach. Yes, every head coach is going to be comfortable. Shoot, Carl Durrell had no leverage whatsoever, and he's going to be paid $8+ million to shut things down at Colorado. Paul Chryst around $16 million. But for every $16 million that's going to Paul Chryst, or every $8 million that's going to Carl Durrell, there is a lower level staffer that is not necessarily making generational wealth. They're just getting by like any of us. So think about those people. As some of these programs are in upheaval, there's a lot of people that will fall by the wayside and will be looking for work and don't have a comfy 8-figure nest egg to fall back on. So think about those people anytime you see this. But I think it's a surprising move at Wisconsin, but as you dig into the details, it makes a little more sense. But at Colorado, it feels like it was overdue. That'll do it for us here at Always College Football. For more on these coaching carousel moves, stick with us every single day on the ESPN YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, it's Greg McElroy. Thanks for watching Always College Football. Make sure you like, rate, and subscribe to ESPN's YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your podcasts.